Yeah. He was really nice.
Becky. Well, she was very nice, she was. She gave us tea round her house. And she let one of us sleep round there. That was me. Actually, she let all three of us sleep round there.
So why didn't you like Louise? What was wrong with her?
Because she had Ashley, and Ashley was a telltale tit.
So
Mother can't knit and Father can't walk without walking stick.
No, it's because I think it was because me, Ashley, and Jason and Sean kept fighting. Jason was the worst.
Yeah,
Jason was the worst, and we kept fighting.
He got us lot into trouble until he went to the toilet. Now a toothbrush, he put that down the toilet and flushed it. So us lot get done for that. He said no again.
I think she wanted to marry my dad just because he was nice. My dad said she would never become my mum. And I said, yeah, she will. She'll take over Mum. And he goes, no, he won't.
do you want your dad to have another girlfriend?
No. Don't want him to have any.
Not even one that played with you?
Nope. Ow! No, wouldn't.
I want my mum to have a boyfriend, but she keeps saying I'll try and look for one, but she don't look for one. And I sometimes say I'll help you look for one, but she says no, you just stop here. And she just goes and she says to me, let's just go shopping. And we just go shopping.
I was shocked when he got married. When he said to us we got married, we went quiet for a few minutes, didn't we? And then Mark goes, stop lying, Dad, and he goes, no, I'm telling the truth. And then we're couldn't.
The first thing I wanted to do was get some money and ring him up and tell her. But I didn't think that'd be right. Knowing she's my stepmom. Knowing she's got the last names after us. It's horrible, really. Knowing that we've got no stepbrother. And he's my brother's age.
How'd you get on with your stepbrother?
Never even seen him. And the only time we saw him, what time we told him to
get lost. If he lived on his own, in his own house, I'd go down there with him, but because she's there, I don't really want to go because I don't want to get to know her. I don't really want to meet her.
You don't really know her?
No, I don't really want to get to know her either.
We just got to know her, really. We spent a lot of time with her, and she'd come to the house and play with us and talk with us, eat with us, go out with us, and she'd take us out, and we'd stay with her sometimes. So, she became like a friend, so it was quite easy.
Dad got to know Liz through a heart-to-heart column, something like that. In a camping magazine. I think he probably got us all together and said, I've met this woman, and it was really good. And then we went to bed at night, and we were like, really. Quite shortly afterwards, there was talk of moving in.
She just said they were coming, and she showed me a picture of them all. On the photo, they looked really weird, and I didn't think I was going to like them. They looked big, very big, and they didn't seem like a family, because we never had boys in the family before.
You thought they were all loonies. You thought they were all emotionally messed up. And they acted it as well. And not one of them spoke to you, I think.
It was hard to actually say hi and take in that they were going to be your brother for a long time. But we got used to it after half a year.
It was very hard because suddenly you came in and you found people doing any odd thing, you know. They were just behaving like they thought, you know, they were, you know, goodness knows what.
They were brought up a lot different. They were brought up so they could play whenever they wanted or whatever. Whereas we weren't. We had to do things a lot more strictly.
We brought our life into this house. All the routines adapted, but didn't change in relation to the new people in the house. And what happened was it grated a bit. I couldn't stop myself saying, you know, stop, pick that up. You know, you can't do that. Will you stop doing that? You know, who do you think you are?
When it was Mum, me and Sophie, we were all females, but then when all these boys kept on coming around, you sort of kept on having to shut your door when they come upstairs and things. When you're drawing, you like to be alone as well. Yeah.
You can't just go up to these young kids and start being their brother. You just can't. It takes a while, and you do need to find this common ground and find something that you can do, that you enjoy, that they also enjoy.
We started just getting really friendly and doing loads of stuff together. Yeah, and we did loads of stuff then, didn't we? Going to the park practically every day. Yeah. We'd play football and catch and rugby and things. And they were always teaching us how to do really cool things. I remember Jonathan taught me how to throw straight by keeping my eye on the ball and everything. Rugby throws. Yeah, and football throws. Yeah.
They've got to adapt slightly to what you like, and you've got to adapt slightly to what they like. And you find this medium, but it doesn't happen straight away, I don't think.
I know it was hard. I felt very pushed to be maybe someone who I wasn't, to make an effort so that they wouldn't hate me and wouldn't want me to leave.
I'm I think, more part of the family now than I was, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. We know where we stand with each other.
When you first came, you were when Jess first came, she was getting into trouble a lot more than she is now. She was like trying to be naughty some of the time because she knew she'd get away with it because she's.
I never stayed in with the family. I just went out and saw my friends. I was quite a handful. And then I changed. I did change. Later.
So Jazz was settled in now then?
Yeah. Yep.
And I bet you'd really miss her if she wasn't here.
Because she goes away to her mum's and we don't miss her that much, but we do sometimes.
We hardly see her anyway. She's up in her horse and stuff.
Yeah. Joe's only at dinner time.
But
say
overnights
hi.
in her room.
Yeah.
What should a good stepmom do, Jan?
Be there as a friend. Not try and be your real mum. Because I'm sure I speak for all of us that no one can take any parent's position. You can't just step into someone else's parent.
Chris asked Mum if she wanted to come over dinner one night. So they went over dinner and they just chatted and that. And then I think a week after, when she came back, Chris asked Mum to marry him.
And what did you think about that then?
Fine.
How did you get on with Chris and his son?
That was all right because we used to get on and play with each other, but it was just a bit too crowded. At the start we were really good friends and that, but then we just started getting away and he was getting more violent and horrible towards us.
He just punched us and, pushed us out.
And there was one time they annoyed me, so I just pushed them both. And both started crying. Their mum just went crazy about it.
I've got to admit, we did get a bit annoying to him, but
he was just always nasty, and he used to hit us for no reason, and Mum used to tell us off.
It was fine, except for when I was in my room, Ryan and Stuart started annoying me. I got on okay with Pat and my dad. Didn't really have any arguments. Just mainly Ryan and Stuart while I moved out.
And how do you get on with him now?
It's a lot better.
Why is it better now?
Because really he's moved away, and he comes and visits us every Friday or whatever. And it's not like we're living together anymore, and we're not fighting, so...
How do you feel about him coming back?
Well, I don't know how we're going to have space for him, but we don't really care.
Do you think it'll be nice in some ways to have him back?
In some ways it'll be nice, in others, no.
If you do decide to go back and live there, what would be the secret of making it easier?
Ryan and Stuart stay out of my way and I'll stay out of their way. So I know if they start annoying me, I'll end up hitting them, and then their mum will get annoyed again. So if they don't annoy me, I think it should be okay.
Tell me what happened at family therapy.
He just asked to say what happened, and we told him our opinions and that. I said me and Chris are having rows, and he said to do more things, and he said do 2 activities a week together. Chris chooses the time, but I choose the activity.
What kind of things do you do together then?
Well, he doesn't do it anymore. We've done it for about 1 week, and I said play cricket up the park and play the computer.
Well, it was mainly there because of Ryan. He was having trouble at school, bully, that sort of thing. And they wanted Ryan to go, but for Ryan to go, the whole family had to go. It wasn't really that good. Didn't help much. He told me I should do more things with Ryan, but never bothered because he always annoyed me. And that was about it, really.
Did any good come out of it?
I got off school.
At first I was really daunted because I don't know any 12-year-old boys. I don't know what 12-year-old boys are like. I didn't know how to speak to one, and we didn't really have much to say, but I think the secret of making it work and for kids to like each other in step families is to let them get used to it really slowly, because it's a very strange concept.
What do you think about your dad and his mum getting married?
Well, just tell me when it is, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm quite fine about it. It seems to me to be quite a vague thing. I think Adam and Guy, because they see dad and mum together, that it seems like more of a definite thing because it's like living in the same house, a marital situation. But for me, I've seen my own mum live in a house with someone for 6 years and they haven't got married. So for me, easy come, easy go. I don't really mind, I
mean, my mum just sat me down and had a long conversation about it. And I said, yeah, go for it. Just tell me when it will be and I'll be there, In a way, I can't wait until my mum and Jack will get married, because, I'm finally going to have a sister, to talk to. She's going to give me advice what to say to a girl when I'm older and stuff like that.
My dad rang me up the other night, just out of the blue, and said, how do you work out the area of a right-angled triangle? And I said, Dad, what are you doing? And he said, I'm helping Adam with his homework. And this was the most strange thing that could have happened, because Dad never helped me with my homework. Dad was this distant businessman figure, and he never really got involved with us or our studies. So I'm happy that he's, having a second chance. But in a way, I'm a bit gutted that it was never with me.
Do you think you'll ever call Jack Dad?
No, I don't think so.
Why is that?
I'll only have one dad, really.
I find it a bit strange when Rosie points out, Adam and Julia look quite alike, don't they? Because I think to myself, now hang on a sec, I am me and I am made of 2 different people to who Adam's made of. So I find it a bit awkward when things like that are said, because obviously we're not real brothers and sisters, we're step brothers and sisters, and there's a big difference.
I just take Leanne, my stepsister, as a normal sister, because we've been living with each other for a very long time, and she cares about me, I care about her, and that's it.
Sometimes I ask him, please can you go and get me my towel or something.
And what does he say?
He says, no, why should I, you're not my sister.
And then what do you say to him?
And then I get quite upset and I say, Christopher, you are my brother. And don't say that because it hurts me a lot. People used to come up into the streets when we were babies and ask our mum if we were twins, and it did get quite upsetting for me because I felt as though I should be his twin because I was so close to him.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
So you could be twins, really?
Yeah, I feel though we are twins, but Leanne's just a bit older than me.
By 4 months and 10 days exactly.
You call both women mum, don't you?
Yeah.
Can you tell me how that feels, having two people in your life called mum?
It feels quite easy because I know my mum and my real mum, and I know my stepmom, and they are both like a real mum, so I just call them mum.
It feels unfair that Christopher gets to see his real parent more than I get to see my real parent, which hurts a little bit.
And Leanne was telling me sometimes she has to, if you're a bit sad when you come back from seeing your mum. Can you tell me about that? What you do, Leanne, when he comes back from his mum?
Sometimes he gets quite sad and I tell him that he is going to see her again and it's not the last time he's going to see her, which makes him a bit more happy, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Does that cheer you up?
Yeah. He's woke me up now.
Do you ever feel tempted with your stepmum, if you're cross with her, to say, you're not my real mum, you can't tell me off?
I done that when I was little. I said, you're not my real mum and you can't tell me off, and I packed my bag when I was 4 and all my teddy in there, and I was sitting on a step waiting for somebody. But now I don't say it because I'm old enough to know.
To know what?
To know that she can tell me off because I've been living with her, and she's a bit like a real mum.
I just smiled to see my dad happy, getting married again, because he seemed happy. Like, you know, when you get water in your eyes because you're happy, that happened. Because I were expecting my dad to be by his son. I didn't think he'd find somebody, but he did. And it was quite a good day. It seemed a lot happier than what it was when he split up with my mum. It was good. It was nice. Thinking that you had a mum there again to be there for you.
What were the nice things that she did?
Well, she used to buy us clothes out at catalogue. Took us on holiday, yeah. And bits like that, really. She was nice at first, but like when she moved in with us, it just changed. And they got married. They were married for 3 years and then they split up again.
Why didn't it work out with Tracy?
Because she was mainly on her kids. It's like my dad says, if you're going into a family who've got children, it's like he were accepting her kids and treating us all the same, but she weren't.
Like when her kids did something wrong,
It weren't them that got done, it were us. I was always in the wrong when I weren't doing stuff in wrong. And it just got to me, getting me really upset, and I just couldn't cope with it anymore. So I got my dad in the kitchen. I said, Dad, I said, I can't cope. I said, I need to move out and live with my nana. I says, yeah, but he says, how would that feel on Tracy? I says, yeah, but it's affecting me, Dad. Having goes at me all the time when I'm not doing things. And the same day, my dad, we were all gone to bed. And my dad were talking to Tracy and had words with her about it, but it still didn't change.
She used to stick up for her children all the time and never did help for us.
So, how did it finally end?
We're all, you know, the door, we're all lined up there, and there were, I think, her kids walked out first, and then Tracy walked out. She says to Jamie, she says, it's all your fault. And now Jamie started crying, and then she just ignored Jason and Kelly. She says to me, keep your eye out, and I wondered what she meant.
We were all stood against the wall outside, and then our mum walked out, and she says it was my fault. I did that, she was leaving. And then Tracy walked out, and she says it was my fault.
What were you supposed to have done?
I don't know, she didn't say.
She just left on her own accord. She was like that, she didn't like anybody. Except her own children and that, so she just blamed anybody.
What did Dad say when you got home?
No, I just told me that she'd left, that she'd had enough, so she'd left.
What did you think about that?
I was glad because I didn't like her. So it was alright for me anyway.
When she moved out, we were just a lot happier.
Dad just came out with it and just said, Carol's pregnant, you're going to have another brother. And I was pretty pleased, actually.
Well, at first I didn't like it, because I didn't really want another brother or sister.
And why didn't you?
Because I get all the attention usually.
Did you feel related to him?
I don't think I did at first.
I didn't,
Because,
for a long time.
you know, he was living in Bristol with his mum and his dad, and he had his family and stuff. And we were down in Exeter. And we only saw them once a month. So, no.
How did you get to feel related to him? What changed?
Well, I suppose when they came down to Exeter, we saw a lot of them, and then he just began to grow up and become this little person, and I really loved him, and he loves me, and I love Lloyd, and he loves me, and it's just lovely.
What about you? What do you feel about them?
Yeah, I look at them as my brothers, definitely. But that's probably partly because they, you know, we are their older sisters.
They do look up to us so much, don't they?
And yeah, they, you know, and I think that if they weren't very, I mean, because they are, you know, very forward about that we are their sisters. I think if they didn't push that so much, that maybe things would, maybe I wouldn't look at it the same as I do. But yeah, they are.
She just felt really, really close to me because, I don't know, just felt like a sister.
She comes and stays with my sister and me and my mum, and people think that's weird, and they go up to my mum and say things like, well, how can you have your ex-husband's, you know, child in your house, kind of thing. And my mum's like, well, it's no problem, you know. I suppose you could say in a way, you know, children do bridge gaps.
Can you remember going into the hospital and seeing her there?
Yeah, I remember because I was ill that day and I couldn't touch her. Went in, Pat was a little bit drowsy. I ended up going to watch EastEnders in the other room because I was ill. They didn't want to infect the baby.
Who chose her name?
My dad, I think. It was them two's decision. I wouldn't have chosen Charlie for a girl.
Do you say that Charlie's your sister or your half-sister, or how do you describe her?
I'll just say she's my sister.
We just say Joe's our real brother, but really he's Jasmine's as well, and Jasmine's nothing to do with us, so that's how Jasmine's comes
comes with our family. It's because of Joe. And that's how Nigel comes to our family. Because of Jazz and Joe. He like connects us together.
Although forming a new and hopefully stable relationship may seem like the perfect solution to a whole host of problems, it's guaranteed to stir things up. Sometimes some practical advice is what's needed. Do You Want to Smack is a studio discussion programme which gives practical tips and advice to parents and kids living in step-families. Although some of the kids in the programme are younger, it's worth taking note of teenage twins Amanda and Joanne, who have a lot to say on the subject.
Do you want a game of football? Do you want a fight? Do you want £1 million? Do you want a happy family? Do you want a smack?
All relationships have their potential disaster areas. In fact, many marriages are ending in divorce, and single parents are finding themselves new partners. Now, their children don't just have to deal with new mother or new father, but there may be a brother or sister that they never knew they were going to have and might not even have wanted. Add to this the possibility of there being new fruit from the union, and you can understand how step-families can have potential areas of conflict different to a normal unit. Well, with me today to discuss issues with Erica de Arf from the National Step Families Association and Tim Khan, our main man and regular contributor. We also have our families. There's Michael Parsons with his twin daughters Amanda and Joanne, and his partner Mary O'Kane with her children Leanne, Claire and want to come. Got myself by that one. And then in the centre we have Gary Cooper with his partner Linda and her son Kane. And then there's our acting family. Greg Freeman with his partner Judy and their children James, Marcus and Samuel. And we're all in the house. Now before we see the clip, what I want to say is that this doesn't actually represent your family, does it? No. They're cool and you're happening. But favouritism can be an issue, and let's have a look at what our family showed us.
Can you help Sam with his maths homework?
Well, not now. I'm trying to mend James's bike.
You can do that later. Sam's got a test tomorrow.
I'm right in the middle. I can't stop now.
See? I told you you would help me. I'll help. I'm good at maths.
Thanks, James. There's a good boy.
I will help. I don't want your help, thank you. Oh, yours. You got it all wrong last time. Do it yourself. I was only trying to help.
Huh. Come on, darling. It won't take long.
I'm busy. I'll do it later.
You're always busy when it comes to Sam. Be different if it was James's homework.
I've done mine already and I didn't need any help.
Sam, you can stop that right now.
It wasn't Sam's fault. James was winding him up.
Marcus, that's enough of that.
If you'd have helped Sam with his homework, none of this would have happened.
So it's all my fault.
Come on, wash your hands. It's time to eat.
Not curry again. Yuck.
James.
Don't mind the hot stuff either.
Don't you?
I don't mind it.
He liked my real mum's cooking.
Well, if you don't want to eat, you can go to bed now.
You never say that to Sam.
Sam's not rude. I brought him up properly.
Why is it so hard for us all to get along? What are we doing wrong?
Hey, all right. Well acted, my friends, well acted. So, Tim, what were the family in the picture doing wrong?
Well, I think one of the problems was that Mum and Dad hadn't really worked out their position together in relation to the children. and so they got drawn into some of the tensions between the children.
I mean, one of the things I noticed then is we had the children playing off their parents against one another. I mean, let's speak to the children first. Does anyone try to do that in your family?
Yeah.
All right, Kate. Well, yeah, you're on your own, mate. Go on, tell me about it. What do you do, Kate?
When I always do shopping, when I always do reading, Linda has to call me.
Oh, so Linda has to help you with reading?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about Daddy?
That's not my daddy.
Well, sorry. What about Gary, though? Sorry, Gary.
He doesn't let me sleep in my mum's bed.
Right on, right on. Michael, what's your experience?
I think, yes, when we have our arguments, when we have our differences of opinions, there tends to be polarisation. Liam and Claire would tend to support their mum Mary, and Joe and Amanda definitely take my side.
How do you go about attempting to resolve these sort of tensions?
We've agreed, we've set out a few ground rules for ourselves. One of them is that we try not to argue in front of the kids. When there are 4 in the house, us with 2 teenagers who are always up later than a lot of children, that's not very easy to find a spare room where one can have a difference of opinion.
We do it in the bathroom.
Was that different opinion, you mean?
We have to find somewhere private. It's the only place with a lock.
Well, I think the issue Michael raises is a very real one, that in any step family, the relationship between the parent and children has come before the relationship between the man and woman. So in fact, that bond, that alliance, sometimes people would feel, is going to be stronger in the early days, because the adults have only just met. It will take time to develop that relationship as a couple, but then also to develop that relationship into being a new family, a step family. It takes 2 or 3 years, but by that time they've actually worked out their way of doing things as a new group of people.
Yes, it's difficult for me sometimes to take the role of a mother, because, I mean, James and Marcus would naturally go to Greg first.
Is that all our experiences?
At first, I used to always go to Dad and sort of say, I don't like this about that. But now it's sort of got to the stage where I actually go to Mary quite a lot, especially sort of like for girl things. But it's got easier.
Yeah. How does it make you feel?
Well, I'm pleased that they come. I'd rather them come to my face, and actually, especially with twins, I've got each other, so it's very easy for them to stick together. But I think it depends on the girl's mum has died. My marriage ended in divorce, and I'm sure that makes a difference. So the girls have fond memories of their mum, but with my children, they don't remember their father because he left. And I'm sure that makes a difference in how they deal with Michael, or how the girls deal with me.
Liam and Claire, how do you feel about having big sisters, Joanne and Amanda?
It's quite good most of the time, but then, like, if anyone has an argument, we find we can't talk to each other, because that would sort of like make it difficult for us to talk to each other. But most of the time it's fine.
What I found, though, when you talk about relationships like this, is that because Mary was on her own for quite a while, for Liam and Claire to suddenly have a guy around, I found it very, very hard to build a relationship.
It seems to me that if, as a step parent, I can imagine that there's a feeling of wanting to be accepted in the role of parent straight away, and it must be hard. And it would seem to me to try to go at the pace of the child and say that's the way it's going to be, and maybe find a place possibly with your partner or with a friend to talk about maybe any frustrations that you feel.
Well, what does happen when tempers flare? When things start getting hot? Do you let things fly, or you just try to chill out a bit? Let's have a look at our next clip.
James, take your feet off the table and come and dry these dishes, please.
It's Sam's turn.
He's still got homework to do.
So what?
So I need your help, if it's not too much trouble.
It's not fair.
never ask him to do anything.
He does his bit without having to be asked.
No, he doesn't. He's got you wrapped round his little finger.
Just like you and your dad.
You don't care about any of us, do you?
So why do you think I married him then?
So you can bust us around and treat all three of us like slaves.
Don't be stupid.
My real mum never called me stupid. I hate you!
Well, you certainly saw a lot of anger, a lot of pain in Julie's face. What else did you see there, Tim, that you could think could have been done differently?
I think that if you can remember that anger may not all be directed at you personally, but it's also general anger about the situation, it can be easier to hear it. I mean, I think I can understand or imagine that very often there is anger in a stepchild, and it would be very helpful for that child if he or she can express their anger and it be heard.
Marcus, Samuel, James, are there times in your relationship when you feel very frustrated and you want to say something to mum or dad?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good man. Tell me a sort of situation where you'd like
Sometimes we say naughty words and good words and sort of words like that to our mums and dads.
Right.
When you have to come in and you don't want to go to bed and everybody else is still able to play out.
Yes, I hate you.
That seems to be a big problem, actually, is when children seem to be engaged in fun and you go and, interrupt that fun, because that's when you tend to get a flashpoint.
Greg comes and gets me in, but sometimes I don't want to come in. And then Greg shouts out, Judy, can you come and help me with something?
Right. And does it help? Does it help? I mean,
Yeah, because I do what my mum says.
Right. Now, Gary, I know you don't have the same sort of dynamics with a big family, but nonetheless, do you find it easy to come in and say to Kane, time to go to bed, son?
Yeah, I do. Because he'll do it. Yeah. I said from the outset that I'm not your natural father. I mean, he's got a really good relationship with his father. Yeah. But, yeah, he's... Oh. Yeah, he's quite easy like that.
He's not difficult to discipline, but if I asked him to do something and I was having a bit of trouble, I would then say in front of Kane, Gail, can you help me here, please? So in front of little one, he knows I'm going to get some additional support and it will be forthcoming, and he will then have to do as he's told.
Yeah, that's great.
And he respects that. He knows if I fail, I've got someone not